Again. Today, I'm asking you all, what are you waiting for? It is obvious looking at both political parties. What is there? Democrats, tax increases, free programs, tax increases. Nothing about fixing the country, nothing about repairing the things our nation needs, nothing about having Congress serve the people. Everything's about larger government. More government. More taxes. How much more can you afford? How much longer can you all continue doing the exact same thing, watching our own Constitution deteriorate around you? And sit there and do nothing. Some of you may say, well, JD, who are you? How are you going to do it? I'll tell you this. I'll either do it or be dead. That much I know. Because Congress is going to fight every step of the way. To them become the servants of you, the people? For them to have to listen to you, the people? For them in Congress to have to do their job that you pay them for them every week out of your paycheck. Those tax dollars pay for the government. The government that seems to want to serve the third world countries. The government that's there for other nations. The government that provides free medical for people throughout the world. But you got to get insurance. Because our government's not going to provide anything for you. That's called Obamacare. You either get insurance, you get fined because they don't want you to use Medicaid. That is Obamacare. Provides medical for nobody. It only makes you get medical insurance. And kicks you off of Medicaid. So it actually provides less medical than before Obamacare. Because you're now kicked off of Medicaid, you can't use it, you got to go get medical insurance, you got to pay that premium, you got to do it. Is that providing medical for you? No. And then we go to the Republican side. You got the bull in the china closet, I call him, Donald Trump. He's really telling us a lot about people he don't like. Who he used to like. But now that he's ready for president, they're no good, they're dumb, they're stupid, they're this, they're... You name it, they're everything bad. But before, they were okay. Now he's running for president, they're the bad guys. And you got Ted Cruz. Oh my God, here's a senator from Texas who doesn't believe in doing his job as a senator. Never mind what's he going to do as a president. He's going around the country and he's enjoying himself, campaigning. And Congress is in session and he's not there. Oh, Rubio, same thing. Gosh, from Florida. And Stein from Vermont. They just don't want to do their jobs. So they want you to make them president. They're to represent the people of Texas, Florida, and Vermont, but they're not there. They're too busy campaigning. They're too busy being negligent as senators. Then what makes you think they're going to make good presidents? They don't even have the moral character to realize what they're doing, and it is wrong, and they should resign so that the governors of each state can replace them. Nope. I believe Reagan was not in a political office when he ran for president. I won't swear to it, but I believe he wasn't because he didn't believe that walking away from a responsibility to people is the way to get a job. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way it is. You just don't walk away from people just because you want to be president. You made a promise. Ted Cruz, you promised the people of Texas. There will be other people of Florida. What's his name from Vermont? The people of Vermont. And yet you turn your back on them to run for president. These are our choices, people. This is who we got to select. No, that's who the Republican Party and the Democrat Party people are selecting. These past elections you're listening to is only approximately 40-some% of the nation. 67% of the people don't vote or are independent. They're neither party. So their voice is not being heard. Only you're hearing the Republican Party and Democrat Party's voice of who they're going to select to run on a national election. Not the nation. Not the people. The political party, the Republicans and the Democrats. That's it. Nothing more. And you don't even realize that. It's like it's a national election now, and it's not. You don't hear about me because no one dares covers the truth. No one dares questions me. I've had people promise to help me. People promise to be my campaign managers. People promise to help me raise money. All these people made promises, but not a single one of them has kept their word. I got people in Facebook that said they're going to do this. I said, fine, okay, blah, blah, blah. Give them the information. Nothing. I got people in Lincoln that says they're going to do this. Great, let's go. Nothing. The truth is, people, I can't do it alone, and without you, the political machines are going to win. Now, yes, I may not make it past the first year's presidency because I'll either be impeached or I will be shot. Most likely shot. But you think that bothers me? I joined the United States Navy, spent 26 years, roughly, with constructive time and whatever else, to defend our Constitution. I'll stand up against Congress to defend our Constitution, to protect your rights. I've done that already in the Navy. You don't understand how important what I'm saying is. You mustn't, because none of you are helping. Right now, what I'm trying to do at this point is darn near impossible. And you are making it that way because you're sitting there listening to the garbage, listening to the bull, and listening to who you don't even want. I'm not interested in the Republicans who's going to vote Republican no matter who they select. It really doesn't matter. All those Republicans out there going and this and this and that, it doesn't matter which Republican they pick, because whoever they pick on a national election, they're going to vote for that person, whether they like it or not, because they're Republican. Same thing goes with the Democrats. It doesn't really matter who the Democrats pick, because the Democrats are going to vote for who the Democrats pick, because they're the Democrats. What I find very interesting, for example, is Hillary Clinton. She's constantly surrounded by women, mostly black women, Afro-American, But all women, 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 women. She reminds me of, what's his name, Joe Biden, who said, oh, I represent the Democrats. The vice president represents the people, not the Democrats. Hillary Clinton, if you get elected, there's more than just a small group of women. There's a lot of women. I'd love to see Congress pass a law equal pay for everybody. Wipes out longevity pay because that wouldn't be equal pay. You're there 6 months, you gotta have to get paid the same amount of money as a person who just started. That's equal pay. There's no such thing as longevity pay. That's gonna have to go out. Promotions for performance. That's gotta go out. Equal pay. Guy comes in, girl comes in, they should get the same starting salary. And as they progress through, they should get the equivalent salary. Not equal pay, equivalent salary. Those who are there 6 years doing the same job for 6 years should be getting equivalent salary, not equal pay. Equal pay means that guy who comes in for the first day gets the same pay as that guy who's been there for 12 years or that woman who's been there for 16 years. That is equal pay. Is that what you all want? Is it? You tell me. Because I'll do that as president. I'll fight for equal pay or equivalent. I believe that each and every person doing the exact job, no matter who they are, no matter what they are, don't matter what nationality they are, don't matter what gender they are, and don't matter what disability they have. If they're doing that job, they should get the equivalent pay as everybody else. Not equal pay, equivalent pay. Because longevity counts, promotions count, and positions count. But in equal pay, none of that counts. See what I'm saying? That's because they don't think things out. I believe that each and every nation, no matter what the nation's government is, no matter what the people choose as their government, has the right to exist. And that the United States Congress does not have the right to go and interfere with the political machines that that nation sets up. In other words, we had no right to go into Iraq. We have no right to be bombing right now in Syria. Notice I left out Afghanistan. Why? They attacked us. We have a right. But we need to accept the nations as they are. Hillary Clinton went in and tried to set up in Egypt a form of government that the people didn't want. They're going to want for her arrest. I might just send her over there. Bottom line, people, is we don't have the right to go around interfering with other nations. That's not our job. Congress, your job is to take care of the American people. Your job is to see to it that they have what is needed to have and maintain and meet the promises made to each and every American citizen in the preamble of the Constitution. And as I said, each and every citizen, from the day they're born to the day they die. Don't you ever try to talk to me about quote unquote anchor babies. There's no such thing. That is an American citizen. The parents have the good fortune of having an American child. We may not like the way it turns out, but I'll forefathers believed in our nation, believed in the Constitution, and believed in the people. That's why they gave us the power over the government. Yes, we have the power over the government. Separation, church and state. Biggest fear our forefathers had, probably the greatest fear, of the lack of separation of church and state. Did not the Supreme Court make a ruling against the free exercise of any religious organization, belief? Any one of you who wish to pray by saying no prayer at school? They almost tried to go in other things too, but they began to realize where they were treading and said, whoa, the people are going to realize the First Amendment says we can't do this, and it's up to the 10th Amendment, which means each state can have it their own way, which it should be. Each state, local community, and people have the right to choose how they wish to exercise their religious beliefs. And no one, atheist or congressman or senator, have a right to tell them otherwise. Sorry, people, Constitution took that completely out of your hands because they realized that trouble when the government is strong, as they're setting up, starts interfering with religion. Because those people in power do not believe in. To this day, no one's explained to me what Waco did wrong. No one has explained to me why we had the FBI and tanks go into a community of people with their own religious beliefs, their own religious doctrine, their free exercise of, and take all that away. They weren't interfering with the communities around them. They weren't interfering with the people that lived nearby. They were staying to themselves with their own beliefs. But yet our government decided to eliminate them. Could not allow a group of American citizens to practice their religious beliefs, though we may totally disagree with it, to practice their religious beliefs freely, the free exercise of. Well, what can I say? I want more information on that. I want to know why it happened more than anything else. No one's told me yet. People, our government is trying to dictate to us the rules and regulations that we shall live by, when we, the people, should be dictating to Congress how we shall be governed. Both political parties are dictating, and they are so hypocritical about it. They write laws that do not appear as what they are, only to come back and attack you, the American citizen. My favorite one is the annual pay raise. How many times do you hear a congressman or senator say, I don't agree with that pay raise, so I'm going to abstain from voting on it, knowing very well to disapprove that pay raise, a majority in the House and a majority in Congress must, the Senate, must vote it down. To make it plain and simple, let's say 51% of the House, 51% of the Senate abstained from voting. 49% of the House and 49% of the Senate, all of them vote no. They do not want that pay raise because of the economy or whatever. Guess what? They get the pay raise. You know why? Because it was not 51%. It was not the majority. That's what abstaining does. It's a vote for the pay raise. But that ain't what that congressman or senator is going to tell you. No. He wants you to think. He wants to lie to you so he can get that big pay raise. Take more taxes from you for less that they do for you and more they do for the rest of the world. I have no problem with the United Nations as a place for discussing problems within the world. And that's what I say it is, a place for discussing problems within the world. It's a lot better than going out there with guns to guns. But it didn't seem to work very good in the Ukraine and Russia. It did seem to work very good between the United States and Iraq. It did seem to work very good with Syria and what's going on now. Do you want me to go on? It doesn't seem to work very good because no one's there discussing that they're hitting and punching and taking over and grabbing and whatever they want. So don't sit there and tell the United States what we're going to do when you can't even get the rest of the world to do anything. Congress, you have a job to do. And I become president, you're going to do that job. You're going to serve the American people, each and every one of them. You're going to be there for them, not for the rest of the world. And then what's left over will be for the rest of the world. We have a responsibility to see to it, in common defense of the nation, that every single citizen has a high school diploma or equivalent. Because every single citizen is required, now that we have women also, to serve 2 years in the military. But they cannot serve unless they have a high school diploma or equivalent. So there's a responsibility to the federal government to see that that education be provided by the clause, provide the common defense of. Yep. Interesting little thing there. Kind of shoots down all these people who say there's nowhere in there for education in the Constitution, doesn't it? It's pretty bad when we got a candidate running for president who could tell you that third world nations have better infrastructure than we do. Because he's been there. He's seen it. I've seen it too. We are negligent of our own nation. We're negligent. Our government is negligent of the needs of the nation. Not just the people, the nation. The people have progressed to a point that the nation can't keep up with because they're too busy trying to bring the third world up to where we're at, which cannot be physically, cannot be economically, and cannot be morally done. The New World Order is a failure from the word go, and that's it. It's a total failure. It cannot be done. You can't bring the whole world up to the same standard as the top, because the only way that will happen is you bring the top down to the standard that the third world can reach. That's what happens. And that's what's happening in the United States. Our standard of living is going down. We're becoming not the first order, but second, maybe even third world nation. There's places in this country you wouldn't believe that poverty has hit so poorly, so greatly, that these people are living below standards of many third world nations. Really? I travel throughout the country, and I'm talking the country as a whole. I'm talking about our territories as well as. And that's another thing, our territories. Why do they have no voice in our government? Because they're territory? They're still Americans. They need to have a voice. Maybe not as many. For example, Senate, instead of 2, 1. Maybe for Congress, half the delegates for the constituent population, but a voice that could vote on their behalf. Not a government like Britain had, the Parliament had when we had our revolution. We don't need to repeat the same mistakes and same errors that our forefathers had to fight against because of their powerful central government, and we're doing the exact same thing now. We need to accept that we are different. Speaking of difference, each and every one of us is different. Not only are we different by groups, for example, we have the Afro-American, we have the English, Anglo-English, we have the Oriental, Asian, we have the island people, we have the American Indians. So, with all that, which group is not an immigrant to this continent? Got a problem there. All of them are. Every single human species migrated to this continent. Every single human species within the United States is an immigrant. The time that they became an immigrant is over thousands of years separation, but it's still true. So yet we're all different, and we all have heritages within this nation that could be anywhere from one generation to dozens of generations. But we're all immigrants. So that makes us all the same. Makes us all equal. So we're different, but yet we're the same. But you got to understand that. And once you realize that we are what we are, then you might understand what an American citizen is and what makes us greater than any other nation in the world. But you've got to understand these things. And these are the things that I'm bringing with me. Your word. Your desire for the government to work for you, the people. And for me to provide leadership. To give a direction for our nation to head towards. That our forefathers dreamed was possible. Yes, there is a bright future for the United States of America. Yes, it can be done. But it's only us who can fix it. Don't look for the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, or even the federal government. Look for us. U.S., us. United States. Each and every one of us. To fix our nation. And we can do it together. Just like I'm asking you to help me now. I cannot do this alone, and I've told you this year after year. It's something we together must do as a nation. And it can be done, and we can do it. Each and every one of us. But we got to work together as a people. Our diversity is what makes us great. In other words, our differences is what makes us great. But our unity to each other is what makes us superior to the rest of the world. Yes, it seems to be that us, that U.S. No, United States of America, U.S. of America, us of America. Kind of interesting, isn't it, the way it works out? So people, I need your help to give you exactly what you want to force our government to serve the American people, not us to serve the government. And for us together to fix the problems that we have in this nation. From overtaxation, from a grandiose government that is beyond the economic means of its citizens, to you, to see to it that the promises made by our Constitution, both promises which is in the preamble, the rights guaranteed by the first 10 amendments, and the government designed by the body of the Constitution is there to serve you and nobody else in the world. We can help them, but they must serve you. That's where our government belongs. They need leadership to provide direction within our government. They need an understanding where the government fits in the lives of each and every American, as well as you all need to understand where the government fits in within your life. So understand what I said at the beginning. What you're watching on TV now is not the American people. It is the Republican Party picking their candidates and the Democrat Party picking their candidates. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter which candidate they pick. The Republicans are going to vote for the Republicans, and the Democrats are going to vote for the Democrats. What I want you to do is to say, I'm going to vote for myself. Me and JD is going to Washington, D.C. For JD is going to take me whether I like it or not, and together, we, you and me, each and every one of us, we're going to fix this government. Or JD's going to be dead within the first year. Either way, it's going to get done one way or the other. Hey, this video is going to be like all the other videos that I promise. I always promise never to take them off. They'll be on. And if I don't do this job, getting your word to Washington, D.C., getting Congress to serve you and provide leadership, you can hold me to it. I want to thank you for your time, but it's time for you all to realize you must do what we all need to do together. Thank you again. This is JD. Have a nice day. Think about everything I talked about here. We didn't even cover taxation. Quickly to give you taxation, think about this real quick. A sales tax. Everybody pays a sales tax. You're rich, you spend a lot more money when you buy an item. You're going to pay more taxes. You're poor, you're going to buy a cheaper item. You're going to pay a lot less taxes. But if everything's taxed, then you get a refund. Illegal aliens, they're going to get taxed too, just like you and I. The only difference is that they're going to have to let us know where they are so they can get their refund. Well, we'll bring their refund to them, take them to the airport, cash their check, give them their plane ticket, give them the remainder of the money, send them home. If they don't tell us where they are, they pay more taxes than you do. Every quarter they'll be paying somewhere between $1,200 to $2,000 every quarter or every third, because they're not going to be getting the money they're entitled to because they don't want the federal government to know where they are. That's just one of many ideas we can use in a taxation system that will fairly and equitably tax everybody. Thank you. This is JD. You have a nice day. Help me if you agree with what I say. If you disagree, let me know. Let's talk about it. Because you have a lot of good ideas out there for our country. And we need to work together to fix them. Thank you. This is JD.